Hello, and welcome back to the Sensory Place Based podcast. I'm your host, Uni, and I am excited to reintroduce the space. I admittedly began my summer overly ambitious, as I usually do, and launched the podcast, or I'll say relaunch the podcast, with the hopes and the desires to spend the summer in the space, creating and connecting and playing with you. And the reality of what the summer unfolded for me was an invitation for lots of space, a necessity for spaciousness for myself, and really an invitation to dive deeper into some work, self work, some healing work that I was already within. And so I met that invitation and I took the space, which meant I took a pause on a lot of things, including podcasts. But as we are moving into and through a seasonal shift, I'm starting to feel a lot more abundant and spacious, excited and inspired, and really curious about all the parts of life. And so I'm ready. I'm ready to be in the space, to take up space, and to share the space with you. And so I wanted to begin with just a little bit of reflection, um, and to try to set a pace and tone not only for myself, but something that I could share with you. Because if you were here, if you were listening, um, that was an active choice, right? Something at some point brought you to the space with me, even if it was just this episode, this moment. And so I want to start with gratitude. I feel really grateful to not only be able to be here with you right now, but to be able to explore my own curiosities, my own self reflections, and my own journey with you inside the space. Something that has been kind of marinating for me that we are going to create space to play with this fall is really looking at what this space can be and how we can become. A lot of what was revealed to me in my break, in my pause through the summer was why and how I'm doing the work that I'm doing, this work that I'm sharing with you, as well as what my intentions are. I think that whenever I first navigated into more expansive ways of existing, not only within myself, but taking up space in the world in more expansive ways, exploring polyamory and non monogamy, looking at my queerness and testing the waters in all the ways possible, exploring my sensuality and my sexuality, and really expanding the way that I express in my creativity. I was left with a lot of options, a lot of experiences, and a lot of information to download and integrate. And as I took space to really start deep diving through and kind of like filtering in and out what was mine and what was other people's, what was true for me and what did I adopt because that is the way that the system or the community or the books said this is what it is, right? And I started really taking the time to look further within myself in a variety of ways by taking space from others, by taking pauses on my experiences, by creating spaciousness from romantic and sexual partnerships, and really taking the time to like feel into my own body, into my own energy, and reflect on what I had not only experienced, but what I had shed over these last few years. I was left with a lot of things that I didn't anticipate or expect. Some of them were more visible and connected to my layers of grief. They were vision points of how I limit myself and where I sabotage. And some of them were permissions to dive deeper in. So, visibilities of what is really curious and true for me, what is a true no, and what is an honest yes, and what is a I'm not sure, but I'm willing to explore. And I think that the biggest thing that I learned through that is this answer is going to continue to change over and over again. And I'm going to continue to change over and over again, which means that this space will continue to change over and over again. And how beautiful is that? Because as living beings, as humans, we are continually evolving. That is the process of life, to evolve, to transition, to reshape, to expand, to integrate. And so, some pieces that I've really been trying to figure out the words to articulate, and I don't know if I quite have all of the information yet, but I want to at least plant the seed today. A big part of what I am feeling really curious about, excited about, expanded within is this place in my path that feels like purpose driven work. It's something that I have been practicing in action for years now, and it is the transition, right? The integration, the space in between. Some people call it the liminal space. It is that rocky edge of confronting something that we have experienced and left behind and looking forward to what is unknown in the future. I first really started understanding the integration space when I started observing, not only through my own experiences, but also through experiences of those around me, what it was to be within like a psychedelic ceremonial experience, whether it be through a festival or through an organized ceremony with a shaman or a guide or a teacher, um, or just something self-paced and self-guided. Um, there's this period of time that seems very like mushy from what you left behind, what you were experiencing before, who you were, what you thought and believed. And we're held in this moment in time to confront all the things that we've let go of and to really face forward and be challenged and pushed and invited into what is ahead of us. And so, as I've been thinking and really reflecting and honing in on what it is that I am holding here inside the self study lab, within the offerings inside of sensory play space, within all of the areas that I play within and share with you. Transitional work, integration work feels most aligned in the way to articulate it and also in the way to embody it. And so, as the seasons change, as we change, this this space will too change. And so I'm inviting you to expand with me, to continue to tune in, to drop in, to in parts release whatever you have experienced here before, what you knew, what you believed, what you expected of this space, and to really hone in and tune in and drop into the invitation of what is existing in this moment. So I'll continue to delve into intimacy and healing and kink. And what feels really exciting and available within that space for me is doing it in a way differently and similarly to what I have before. To really tuning into my own inner voice and attuning to what it is that I'm experiencing with each of you. And so, as the days and months ahead unfold, I'm really excited for you to be able to learn more about getting out of your head and dropping into your body with me. We'll be doing this in a variety of ways with many options that are very somatically centered, really focusing on our body, our sensations, the experiences that we're having within our own selves, and how to marry and blend in this human experience with our spiritual spirit experience, with our energetic experience, with our desires, with our pleasure, with our play, with our healing, in whatever ways feel available for you. And so my goal is not to go from one extreme to the other, but to sink deeper into the authenticity of who I am and to show up more authentically to you. And so I want to give myself permission and invite you into a little bit of graciousness with me as I a little messily walk into a space that feels braver than what I have been experiencing before. And so it's going to be a little messy, perhaps. Maybe it won't. But from my past experience, every change for me has come with a lot of turbulence, a lot of motion, and a little bit of welcomed chaos. And so, as I continue to evolve and change and transform in this space and create ways for that to mirror to you that it is possible, that it is available, to show you what it is that you desire to see and to open up space for us to explore and experiment and express and play and connect. I hope that you can see my humanness and meet me in a space between the expectations and the possibilities. So, upcoming in the days and months ahead, I will be sharing more recorded audio and video with you. This gives us more connectivity and access in a space that there's so much distance. And it allows you to see a little bit more of my humanness. I intend to continue to find and redefine my poetic voice, to really lean into returning to writing authentically and less strategically, although there is a balance. So I'm looking for that and exploring it. So where you see the inconsistencies in the communication in that way, know that it is me moving away from one system and one belief set and moving into something that feels true. I'm excited to share space with you once again. So I will be taking up space at other people's establishments, holding circles, holding groups, holding classes. And then I will also be holding private group gatherings a few times a month on my own and in collaboration with other members of the collective and the community. And I'm really excited to find experiences that can translate what this way of existing means to me and to give you opportunities to create that for yourself. And so I'm really excited to create because the artist in me loves nothing more than to make something to share, for something to be witnessed, for it to be observed, and for us to be held in that space of curiosity and contemplation and fantasy and play. And so, as I continue to refine and redefine the ways that I am able to hold space, share space, take up space, and witness space with you, I encourage you to also be in reciprocity with me in a variety of ways. You can show up to the spaces, you can express what also is feeling curious for you. You can share these episodes, you can show up in the community spaces and share space with us virtually and in person. And really what I really want to sink deeper into in the fall and the winter and the months ahead is how do we coexist in a way that feels tender and nourishing, but also that feels exciting and liberating? And how do we take up space without taking away from one another? I don't really know what that means in full yet, but I think we're going to find out in our own ways, in our own time. So thank you for tuning in with me for this hot minute. Um, I will expand and explore inside the Substack with you. So stay tuned, and I look forward to seeing you and sharing space and holding space with you again soon.